Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the VOR iRacing IndyCar Sprint Series presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning. We are here at the World Center of Racing, the world's greatest race course, I could say. That was a blooper and a half. Anyways, round 2 of the season here. I am Julien Altena, once again returning to provide you coverage of the amazing races, these sprint races. 25 laps around tonight. And we have about 17 drivers in the field today. It'll be a great race. One-shot qualifier, of course, new for this season. As I mentioned, 25-lap race, standing starts, and one additional tire set. So drivers currently out on the track for qualifications, as they have some technical difficulties to work out. And I'm out of breath a little bit, but we made it. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. It should be a great race. We got a few more cars in the field, a very racy track. Zandvoort last week was great as well, but I think this track is a little bit better for racing. You can definitely get it done and get some good drafting passes. But let's take a quick look at the schedule for the season. Of course, tonight we have the road course. Next week we go to Oval. Then we have an off week until Brands Hatch and Red Bull Ring to out the season. So let's bring up the championship standings heading into this race. Nathan Moore won last week after teammates lost his rear end in the final corner and collected another car, which resulted instead of a 1-2 finish for Nathan Moore, Giovanni came home in second and Liam was up from the back all the way to Pete. Of course, in the team standings with that win, WSR. So going into qualifying now, let's see if we can catch anybody out the track. Here we go. We got Jorge Marquez. And I want to start off with him right away. And I have to correct myself. I said last week that he won races and a championship in the IndyCar Euro Series. That was a mixed memory. He won races and championships in the Formula One Championship we used to organize a few years as he goes to the provisional pole position. So that is his one-shot qualifying attempt complete. If we can catch. So here is Robert Sadler in the pits. Not sure if he is qualifying or not, but we got Randy Marino here making his first start today as to Mike Wayne Robinson in that blue number 46. Valentino Rossi inspired paint scheme with Podium eSports on the side of that. Telemetry is not really working with. Oh, that is crashing. So I apologize, everybody. We'll just need a quick timing and scoring. That was great when all the programs and everything. Anyway, so qualifications are complete. All right, very quickly then, because we don't have a lot of time for this. Timings. Very confused at the moment. Either way, we'll get ready for the race. So I'll just read the starting grid out without a graphic. I'll try to fix it as the race gets started here. But on the front row, we got Jorge Marquez on the pole. Almost race winner last week. Adam stayed on the second position on the outside of row one. Then we got Coveney and O'Sullivan on row 2, Jack James and Nathan Moore on row 3, Carol Stout and Patrick Silvassi row 4, row 5 is Mika Mixer and Ibe Emmel. Then we got Pim van Gastel, Mike Wynne Robinson, Alaric Vandenbos, Robert Sadler, and Randy Marino. Grid. Go. A few people blink out or either disconnect, so there might be some technical difficulties with iRacing going. For the race, we had some server issues with the sim. That is the case. Oh, here we go then. Getting ready to go here at Indianapolis, and the green flag is out. We are racing at the Brickyard as the field storms off into turn 1, and it seems like it's been a decent start by Jorge Marquinez. Adam State holding his line on the inside, not really going for a move yet, as the field very orderly dives into the first corner, very tight right-hand corner. To go through turns 2, 3, and up to turn 4, as a little bit of side-by-side action between O'Sullivan and one of the yellow cars. Hard to tell who it is exactly. New livery, still getting used to them. In the Prey.com livery from Stingray Rob. We dive into turn 5. There we go, we got the overlay working. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but we are back, we've made it. So a new thing for this series and this season right now is push to pass. It's been updated. So drivers get 200 seconds in total for the entire race. And you can use that from the end of lap 1. So right now, push to pass is active. And is available for use as Adam State closed right back up to Marquinez, who got a good jump on the first lap. But of course, the slipstream here, very powerful. Down the front straight, especially, as the field makes their way down the back straight for the second time tonight. So whilst we missed some of the action here, is the end of lap 1. Alaric Vandenbos on the inside of Pim van Gastel, and Nodibe Emmel gonna pounce right as well. Goes to the outside for turn 2, which becomes the inside for turns 4, 5, and takes the position away. Back to live pictures here. Nodibe right on the back of Alaric Vandenbos. Alaric got a top 5 finish last week in Zandvoort because on the final lap of the race, or the penultimate lap of the race, Tijn van der Velde, who is not here tonight, lost the rear end coming out of the first corner, collected Patrick Silvassi, and Nodibe Emmel was coming out of the pits to serve his mandatory pit stop, and he got collected in that. So those 3 drivers retiring meant that Alaric got promoted to the top 5, as those 2 go side by side now as well. But Alaric holds his ground, holds the position to hold on to P8. Mike Wynne Robinson going for a quick spin on the primary tires, but recovers the car in the grass. The leaders here, and they make it through. So Mike Wynne Robinson already down a lap as he gets out of the way for the field. So back to the leaders on the 3rd lap of the race, going into the old Snake Pit complex of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which of course made way for this iteration of the road course. Slightly modified from the old F1 track they used to run at until 2007, but character still is the same. It's the Brickyard. It's a flat road course, but very technical and fast sweeping corners here. So that's exactly why it puts on the great racing that we see. Archie Coveney having a look to the inside of Liam O'Sullivan, but it was only a glimpse. Can't really call it a look, just a glimpse of trying to go for it, but decides to wait, perhaps for the front straight in the RD Sim Sport number 19, chasing the Altena Autosport number 12. Of course, as I mentioned in the intro, Liam started from the back last week and came home in third, of course, due to that attrition mostly, but still had the pace to pull it off as Archie gets a really nice exit out of the final corner. Let's see if he can pull off a pass here down the front straight. Push to pass is enabled on that number 19. Move up ahead as well for the lead. Adam State to the inside of Jorge Marquinez and Archie Coveney on the inside as well of Liam O'Sullivan. Still going side by side. He's got the inside for the next one, so I think Liam is going to give this up because he knows that he will have to give up the position, as the racing line is simply the inside line. So, as we saw from the onboard with Coveney, Marquinez down to P2 now as Adam State has taken over the lead, looking to improve on his result from last week. Of course, as I mentioned, was leading last week and made a mistake on the cold tires coming out of the pits and spun right in front of Jorge Marquinez. So, not sure if any love is lost between those two, but Adam State, put on a clean move and is now into the lead of the race. Nathan Moore, his teammate, up to third. Still in third, I should say. But Emil has gone off and is in the pits. We'll go to him and see what happened to him in just a moment, as Jorge Marquinez really seems to be struggling. Maybe his setup is not so kind to the red tires, and it really is falling back 1.1 seconds into turn 1 already. And remember, State made that move a lap ago, so he literally lost a second the last lap to State. Marquinez did. Brandon Marino in his debut in the series, running P12 about 2 seconds. Mika Mixer, who is also making starts. Very clean start by those two. Oh, and Mixer goes around for a lazy spin, and Marino gets up to P11. Back to the battle for the third position, led by Nathan Moore and of course Archie Coveney, Liam O'Sullivan, and I guess you can also count Jack James in the back. He was at Stingray Rob car, also new to the league. I think he did one race last season, and he is here again for season 2. If my memory serves me right, he did the Imola race and got taken out on the first lap. So yeah, Mike Wynn Robinson down a lap, and Nodibe Emil is out of the race. Let's see if we can catch what happened to him. Actually hold that thought. So Adam State put out another half a second on the last lap. Marquinez was able to hold on that last time by into turn 1, but he's got 4 cars right on his gearbox, looking to take advantage of any possible mistake by Jorge. I think it's going to be a difficult task to push him into a mistake, considering all the experience he has in open wheelers, but his tires do seem to be dropping off quite a bit compared to everybody else, and I would assume that State and Moore are also running the same setup. So I think it's going to be pretty easy for Nathan Moore to try and pull off a pass here as we go down the front straight once again. Moore is actually holding ground, so is he saving tire or is he saving fuel? Does have a very good look down the inside, but not committing to any overtake attempt, which is interesting. Because if I was in his shoes, I would definitely try to get past Marquinez and try to control the race by running first and second with my teammates. But maybe Moore knows something we don't. Maybe he's saving his tires. Maybe he wants to go a lap longer. Really push his tire strategy. But for now, holding station as Archie Coveney having a look. Not sure if the track grip is low or something, because all these drivers are definitely having a look as Archie Coveney tries to put some pressure on Nathan Moore through final few corners of the infield course, as Moore feels the need to defend the inside. Archie on the outside, trying to go the long way. Whoa, almost got the door shut. Still going for the gap, and the two running side by side through the final corner now. This is going to be interesting. The shorter distance for Moore allows him to hold the position, but Archie Coveney right in slipstream, trying to make up a position. Into the first corner we go, and Liam also having a look. This is very action-packed into turn one. Or leaving the space, very respectful by the 72, as the 19 still does not pull off the pass. This has been going on for almost half a lap at this point, but I think he's going to have it now, because this corner is only single lane. Whoa, and one car has to bounce over the curbs. Might be a slowdown for Coveney, as Liam bounces as well. Archie giving Liam the draft to try and pull him in front of as well. I'm stumbling over my words, but Liam up to P4, Nathan Moore down to P5. Finally, I can catch my breath for a second. What an amazing battle between those three drivers. That was incredible. So Nathan Moore went from running third to fifth in about 10 seconds. That's how fast it can go here at the Indy Road Course. As I mentioned, it's not too difficult of a track. It's a very flat track, but it puts on some of the best racing, as you will see in the IndyCar scene, and people will disagree with me on that, but I think the amount of overtakes is proving to that statement. You certainly pass more here than at Barber, for example. Anyways, quickly going to the front of the field, Adam State took the lead on the third lap of the race. Got a 3.4-second gap over Jorge Martinez. Still holds on to that second position, but I doubt he will stay there for very much longer, because Archie Coveney is looking very feisty indeed, as he displayed making that pass on Nathan Moore. All these guys very close together, and look at the run Coveney got through the penultimate corner here onto the home straight. I think this is pretty much a done deal by Coveney here, as he picks up the slipstream. I would say that he's on the push to pass too, gonna pull out to the inside, and Marquinhos not really gonna fight this one. I think he knows that his pace has just fallen off a little bit of a cliff so far. So move Marquinhos down to third and Coveney up to second. Last 4 laps for Marquinhos. 1:11.93, 1:12.24, 1:13.3, 1:13.6. And if we go compare that to the person who passed him, grab him on the. You can see a lot more consistent. I remember that Archie was right behind Marquinhos, so obviously will run slightly slower, slightly quicker. But you can just see in the consistency that Archie just has his car under him a lot better than Jorge does. And he shows that right away by pulling away, as we have one driver going into the pits. Is that Liam O'Sullivan? It is Liam. So just before the halfway mark, Liam decides to come into the pits and get rid of his reds. I would assume that he is going to go to the primary tires now to go really hard for the last 14 laps of the race, as Mike Green Robertson is back out on the track, 2 laps down. Alaric Vandenbos going by, as well as Patrick Silvassi. Sorry, that was Robert Sadler. Patrick already went by. Jorge down from third down from first to third, I should say. So Liam O'Sullivan goes back to the red compound tires, interestingly enough. So he will have to do a little bit over half the race distance to the end. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe the time limit is going to limit him to 20 laps. In which case, a halfway pit stop would be very logical. Adam State stays out one more lap to start lap number 13. One driver already in the pits. That means that Jorge Makina is back up to second, as Nathan Moore is moved up to third. Archie Coveney down onto pit road, as well as Jack James, Alaric van der Bos in the background, as well as Robert Sadler, all coming into the pit. So these guys all looking to do half the race on the Reds and another half of the race on the Reds again to close out the race. Of course, you can change tires once during the race if you choose to, which I think is a no-brainer. You should, but drivers have the option to not do it. The mandatory pit stop is intended for fuel, but yeah, drivers can run any compound they wish. They can start the race on any compound, but they have to qualify the race for the race on that compound. Start the race on the compound you qualified on, which in these drivers' case was all the Reds, obviously, as you could see. And they'll go back to the Reds tire today, it seems, as Adam State pushed it one more, and he is now into the pits as well. So that's going to hand over the lead to teammate Nathan Moore. Going to get a lap lead in the books. Jorge Marquinez and Patrick Silvassi all come in. I want to see what Liam O'Sullivan cycles through in all of this. Still in front of Jack James, he is. But it will be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to everybody, of course, who pitted on the previous lap and who are on pit road right now. So let's see what Liam can do. Tempting an undercut, but I think the overcut is more powerful on most road courses anyway. Stay off and away. Back to the red compound tires. There is Archie Coveney coming down the home straight. This might be very close between those two drivers. Of course, Adam State does not have hot tires yet, and Coveney does. Ooh, got a bit close by going over the white line there. Hopefully, didn't get a penalty there. You can really see him tippy-toeing around first set of corners on the outlap. Cold tires, of course, no tire warmers in IndyCar. So the first lap or two are always going to be a bit tricky, especially on the Reds. They have a lot higher of an operating temperature than the primary blacks do. So, of course, it takes longer to reach that temperature. Still holds on to the effective race lead as Nathan Moore comes into the pits this lap on at the end of lap 13, starting lap 14. The end of lap 14, starting lap 15. Excuse me. Right as he was crossing the line, I read the lap count. So Liam rejoins just behind Coveney where he was. Marquinez drops all the way down to P8 behind Patrick. And, bouncing around a lot. I think he's running very stiff springs, which could explain why he was losing so much time after, about 5 laps as Jorge. Woo! Nice save. That was a nice save. I did an official race last week as well when they were here. Or was it earlier this week? I can't remember exactly. But anyway, in practice, I did the same thing and I completely lost it. So good save by Jorge Marquinez. Holds on to the car. But to go back to my story, I'm pretty sure he's running a very stiff spring rate, which means that the car is bouncing off and just overall a lot stiffer, which is great for short run speed. But of course, when you have to manage these tires for 13 laps, they will degrade a lot quicker than a softer spring set, as Alaric van der Bos up to P7 now, with Robert Sadler right behind. Of course, these two pitted together a lap ago. Robert having a look to the inside. Not close enough to outbrake Alaric. Liam O'Sullivan has closed the gap to Nathan Moore. Not sure why, but Nathan Moore really seems to be struggling compared to his teammates. He loses 2/10 in those two corners alone, leading on to the home straight as Liam goes very wide there. But definitely gaining ground and on for another podium if he can pass Nathan Moore. In the meantime, the two leaders, Adam State and Archie Coveney, very close together, so we'll keep an eye out on this battle as well. Quickly go back to Alaric van der Bos and Robert Sadler down the front straight. To the outside, Robert goes on the push to pass. Breaks later than Alaric, but very, very close between those two drivers, and Robert pulls off the pass. Round the outside, and a good move by Robert to move up into P7. Stayed gapping Archie Coveney very slightly. Gap is just over a second now. It was about 7/10 the last time by the start finish line. So I think State is trying to control the pace just like he did at Zandvoort before that crucial mistake, of course. Patrick Silvassi running in the 5th position. Started P8, so gained 3 spots. Not too bad. He ran as high as 4th during the pit cycle. Liam O'Sullivan, as we covered just a moment ago, made his pit stop. That's why his lowest was P11. But he's been in 4th place all race pretty much. Of course, Nathan Moore ran as high as 1st for just a brief moment. And that was during the pit cycle. Lowest 6th, currently in the 3rd position. Archie Coveney chasing down the leader. Started 3rd, ran as low as 7th, as high as 2nd, and currently runs in 2nd as well. And then, of course, the race leader started 2nd on the outside of the front row, but really hasn't been lower than that. He's currently in the lead, of course, as you can see here. Trying to defend that lead position from... Looking pretty good here today, I have to say. Archie looks pretty strong in Zandvoort. Didn't quite have the details together, but overall ran a pretty strong race and kept himself in contention after those 3 dropped out of the race on the penultimate lap of the race, of course, by Tijn van der Velde, Patrick Silvassi, and Odibe Emmel, who were all racing around Archie's track position at the time. Of course, also have to give a quick thanks to our sponsor, IFS Personal Financial Planning, Alexander Boney specifically, the person behind that. Unfortunately, he is not here, but this sprint series is brought to you by IFS Personal Financial Planning. I want to thank Alex. Check out IFS Personal Financial Planning in the description. You can get in contact as well through email, alex@ifsp.com email address if you have any questions. They help you with financing and generational wealth and all that kind of stuff. I don't have the text in front of me right now. Will pop up in just a quick second. Then I'll read it out. We have about 6 laps to go in Indianapolis. So yeah, specializing in transferring intergenerational wealth and minimizing the taxes incurred. Get in contact, alex@ifspfp.com. That is IFS Personal Planning. alex@ifs.com is the email address. Get in contact. Again, Alex, thank you for all you do for the league and the series. We start lap 20. The battle for the lead is very much raging on. I think this is just a time trial for Archie Coveney at the moment. He's trying his hardest to stay as close as he can to Adam State. But one thing I also found when I raced in the Indy Fixed race here earlier, the red tires do fall off quite significantly when you're running in traffic. So hopefully for Archie, he can manage his rear tires especially quite well to mount a challenge at the end of this thing. But it's going to be very hard for him to do, especially considering we're already halfway through this second stint. But Nathan Moore pulled away from Liam O'Sullivan. Not sure if Liam made a mistake or not, but looking to cement that third position and a double podium, which they missed out on last week. WSR eSports. MRRS racing driver Pim van Gastel in the number 10 runs in P9. Pretty quiet race for him. I think Pim is just getting used to running these Indy cars. I think does other stuff most of the time anyway. Dipping his toes in the water, I guess, with the IndyCar. Of course, keeping the car on track is the most important thing, and he is currently on for a top 10, so you can't really complain, can you? So going back to the battle for P7 and P8, Robert Sadler with the EGP Racing, number 24, with the pink rims, almost a trademark by Robert at this stage. Robert's been in the league for about 4 years since it started, actually, so it is 4 years. And Robert always used to run these pink rims. He also ran blue rims at a time. Very light blue, but overall pink is his color. It's, of course, for those who don't know, the EGP Racing runs a hypercar championship. It's basically the IMSA GTP in a WEC sprint style format. 45-minute races on Sundays at, I want to say, 6:30 p.m. UK time. It could be 7:30, but yeah, if you're interested in joining the prototypes or the hypercars, I should say, definitely shoot Robert Sadler a message on Discord. Want to get in contact with Robert, or if you want to join the VOR Sprint series or any of the DW12 or iRacing series, you can join our league Discord. Robert is in it. I find this Discord there as well. Yeah, Robert makes a slight mistake, but holds the car out on the track and holds on to P7, most important for him. Coveney within half a second now at the end of the back straight, with little over 3 laps to go. So this race definitely not over. And we saw last week in Zandvoort that attrition is just in a tight corner. Like, it can happen at any point. So we'll wait and see if that's the case again this week. I'll quickly say hi to everybody in chat. Any drivers or just fans of drivers in the race at the moment? Hello to you all. Hopefully the stream is good. If you do like it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified of other broadcasts that we do here for our series, definitely make sure to hit the bell as well to receive notifications. Quickly once more, check out IFS Personal Financial Planning as well. You can check them out in the description. You can message Alexander Boney at alex@ifspfp.com on the emails. Specialize transferring intergenerational wealth and minimizing the thirds. So once again, get in contact through alex@ifsp. So back to the race, and we'll stay in the race for the last 3 laps or so. Continue to track this battle for the lead. I don't think Adric van den Bos is anything for Robert Sadler, so we'll stay with these 2 drivers. But like I mentioned earlier, it also wouldn't surprise me if State is just managing the pace. Very much looks like it, because he's not letting State get within half a second, really. I could be proven wrong here in just a second, as the gap is now down to 0.4 of a second. This might be Coveney's best run yet today on the push to pass, and I want to see if State is also using it. He is, so he's using push to defend. We'll follow Archie Coveney here for this lap. Look how close he gets here. So, a bit of a power slide, and that's going to really hurt him. He was close enough to try and mount a challenge into turn 6, but I don't think it's going to happen this time around, at least. Just lost too much time spinning up the wheels and about it. So we got 38 seconds left before the timer runs out. So can we cross the start-finish line within the next 30 seconds to start the 25th and final tour? We'll find out in 24 seconds now as the clock continues to wind down. It's either going to be very close or not at all. I think it's going to be very close. 10 seconds left on the clock. And we should probably switch to the flag, man, because we might be in for a very anticlimactic race. 5 seconds on the clock, and there it is. There it is. The checkered flag is out. Adam State wins just in front of Archie Coveney. We just came short on making the full race distance, but there we go. Top 3 is settled. Nathan Moore finishes 3rd as the final few drivers finish up the race as well. Liam O'Sullivan comes home in the 4th position. There he is across the line. Patrick Silvassi comes across the line as well for a top 5. He'll be happy about that considering how his last race went last week. Robert Sadler does hold on to P7. Edward van der Bos finishes P8. Another top 10 for him. I think he'll be happy about it. As well as Pim van Gastel, who just kept the car on track. About 58 seconds behind the leader, and Mika Mixer, who will round off top 10. So, yeah, very anticlimactic. I thought we would have seen a pretty good attempt, at least, by Coveney on the last lap, on what would have been the last lap of the race. But we just missed that by about 4 seconds, I would say. So that wraps up your race from Indianapolis, the sprint of Indianapolis. Not to be confused with the oval round, which is next week, the sprint at the Speedway. There you have it. Those are your final results for the sprint of Indianapolis. Adam State, after crashing out last week, wins here 6/10 over Archie Coveney. Nathan Moore comes home in 3rd to complete a double podium for WSR eSports butt kicker. Liam O'Sullivan and Patrick Silvassi complete the top 5. Then Jorge Marquinez drops from the pole position all the way to P6. Robert Sadler finishes P7. Adric van der Bos P8. Pim van Gastel and Mika Mixer. Then, moving on to the next page of results. Final 4 drivers. Jack James finishes P11. Randy Marino P12. Those are both of those drivers 1 lap down. Then the retirees of the race, Mike Wynn Robinson, Nodibe Emmel, and Carol Stout, did not start the race. Snuck in about an hour too late. So before we dive into any interviews, we'll quickly bring up the schedule. Of course, now we've completed the first 2 races. Up next week is going to be the Indy Oval, the sprint at the Speedway. Then we have an off week on October 3rd, before we return on October 10th for Brands Hatch. Full Grand Prix layout and the final race of the season on October 17th at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, for those interested in running some ovals with us, we have the DW12 Iconic Series on Fridays. At the same time, both leagues at 2 p.m. CDT. Start of September 6th. Of course, the next race is going to be tomorrow at Nashville. Then we go to California, Pocono, Kentucky, Classic Phoenix, Michigan, and Las Vegas to close out the campaign. Then the IndyCar Series on Saturdays, also at 2 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Central European Time. Of course, Nashville Saturday. Then we go to Laguna Seca, Pocono, Kentucky, updated Phoenix, Detroit, and the final race of the season at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you're interested in joining, the Iconic and Sprint Series are free to enter. The IR18 IndyCar Series has an entry $15 for the remainder of the. So if you're interested, join the Discord and sign up. So it looks like we have a few people in the waiting room. Bring in. Hello, Nathan. Do you have a copy?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly loud and clear. Congratulations on a P3 finish. if I'm not mistaken, and my memory is a bit fake because apparently I have brain fog. You won last week at Zandvoort. Back to that with another podium here today. Tell us about your race and your battles with Liam and those guys around you.
Yeah, the start was tricky. I think I got a good initial launch off the line into T1, and then yeah, the first stint I was just struggling for pace. I think Archie was really fast today. I was had a good battle with him and Liam, of course, as well. And yeah, I knew coming into this, it was just about getting a nice, consistent result. Make sure I finish, bag the points. I wasn't feeling particularly confident coming into this round. But yeah, it was the first stint was a lot of fun, and then after the pits, it was just luckily got out just ahead of Liam, and then on the fresher tires, it was basically just bringing it home to the end.
Perfect. Well, I quickly wanna ask you as well. How did you find the updated push to pass around this particular? I know at Zandvoort you use it quite a bit, but I feel like at this race you had to save it a lot more. Did you not?
Yeah, I saved it in the first stint, so I think that's why maybe my pace improved in the second stint because I was using it like I'd saved enough so that I was more or less using it every lap down the start finish. So yeah, I think first stint was just been really safe because there's like two key areas you can use push to pass here instead of just the one really at Zandvoort. So yeah, it was. I like the strategy, especially now the updated 200 seconds. I think it brings a lot more strategy into these races now.
Well, strategy might be an important factor in the next couple races, especially at the Oval next week. Any thoughts and feelings about the Oval?
Uh, it's gonna be a lot of fun, that's for sure. I of course I'm primarily not really an oval racer as such, so I've got a lot of work to do there to try and learn stuff. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun though, that's for sure. I think oval racing is fantastic, and yeah, it's gonna be a really good one next week.
At least I had a good 500-mile practice.
Yeah, indeed.
But before I let you go, any people, any sponsors you want to shout out?
No, not but just you guys again for putting on this great league. The sprint format's really it's like something different. It's really nice format. You have to lot of action, only 20-25 laps or so. So yeah, it's a great league, and just looking forward to next week.
Perfect. Thanks for joining, and see you next week.
Thank you very much.
So that was your third place finisher, Nathan Moore. Let's bring in Archie Coveney. Hello, Archie. Oh, hello.
Hello.
That was a nice sound effect. How was the race for you?
Yeah, it was actually pretty enjoyable to be fair. Nearly got the win, but yeah, I just did not have the tires at the end.
Yeah, we were watching your battle very closely with about 10 seconds to go. The checkered flag came out, at least from what we saw. Were you expecting that with a few laps to go, or did you just knew that was going?
I thought it was going to go 25 because it was around 5 minutes, but I thought it would be enough time, so I was a bit caught out by that, but it wouldn't have made a difference. I've used all my push to pass, thinking that it would go two more, just because I had very little left. I had to use it all in the first stint, really, and yeah, just ran out. So it wouldn't have changed the result. It was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, with the tires and the track temp that we had, I'm not complaining.
Well, great P2 for you today. Any people you want to shout out or say hi to?
Yeah, just RD Simsport and Rob, the team owner, of course, and to be fair, you guys as well. I'm really enjoying this league. I'm first timer here, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, I have to say I'm actually quite impressed by how you've progressed with these races. Last week you were pretty close to cracking the top 5 on pure speed. Before those 3 crashed out, of course. But yeah, your improvement has been great to watch, and I'm pretty interested to see what you can do at the oval. Before I let you go, one final comment on the ovals from.
Well, to be fair, I race the Indy cars on the ovals more than I do the road courses, although I am more of a road racer, just in other categories. So I've done a lot of laps at Indy. I would like to back myself to put a decent result in, but obviously Indianapolis Speedway is going to be a bit of a chaotic one, so don't want to speak too soon.
Definitely, and the track picks the winner. Just remember that.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. Congratulations on your P2 once again, and you go now.
Awesome. Thank you, Julian.
So that was P2. Archie Coveney. Let's bring in Adam. Hello, Adam. Congratulations. I would say it's been a win that was in the making since last week, when you had that unfortunate accident with a couple laps to go. Great race from you today. Just talk us through it. Were you managing your pace much, or were you really going for it?
Yeah, those first few laps behind Jorge, I was kind of really managing the front because with the track temperature being so high, it was like we had to make sure the tires just lasted as long as they could. And then as soon as I saw kind of Jorge just slightly overdrive the tires a little bit, I knew it was my time to just jump. So as soon as I got by, it was kind of like just managed from there, except for my minor mishap going into turn 6, a few laps into it. But no, especially for the second stint, it was just manage and make sure I kept Archie within an arm's length so he could never get a proper run at me.
Awesome. Well, I have to ask you as well. How did you find the updated push to pass? I asked your teammate this question, and he said he really had to manage it on the first stint and then could use it more on the second stint. How did you time and manage that?
It was very much the same, I think. The first stint, because we were so close and in the toe, it was very much just save it and hold on to it. But as soon as I got past Jorge, it was like off the last corner and out of the short shoot chicane, it was just making sure I put a little bit here and a little bit there just to make sure I managed the gap. And I basically just did that for the entire race. So I think I ended up with like 15 seconds left or something. But it was just managing it and making sure I used enough per lap to keep Archie out of toe range and make sure I was still producing the lap times.
There we go. We got P2M, push to maintain the gap. In effect. Congratulations on your win, Adam. Any people or sponsors you want to shout out before I let you go?
Well, of course, thanks to Butt Kicker and all the team at WSR eSports, and I hope we can continue this momentum between me and Nathan for the rest of the season.
Perfect. Right. Congratulations once again, and we'll see you next week at the.
Thanks, Julian.
Thank you as well. So there you have it. Those are your podium finishers: Nathan Moore, Archie Coveney, and of course the race winner, State. So quickly for those who just joined us but want to know the race results, bring those up. Get out of here. Bring the red page up first. It wants to work. Okay, well, that's just great. We've been having technical difficulties all night, and this just right. Anyway, Adam State wins your race in front of Archie Coveney in a very tight battle towards the end. You heard Adam say that he was managing the gap and Archie was hoping for that final lap to come, but of course it didn't. And Nathan Moore, of course, completed the podium for WSR Esports Butt Kicker, a 1-3 finish. Pretty impressive. Liam O'Sullivan came home in 4th and Patrick Silvassi 5th. So those are your top 5 finishers. One final look at the schedule. Of course, next week we go to the Indy Oval. Then we have an off week and 2 races. If you want to join the league, either 3 series, the Iconic Series or the IndyCar Series, definitely make sure to join the Discord. And that's going to wrap it up for us here in the Sprint Series. I want to quickly say thanks to IFS Personal Financial Planning one final time. Thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week for the Oval. Sprint Oval. Yeah.